Hello everybody, my name is Anita Makharia. I am the founder CEO of SwayamPrabha Events and Experiences. We are into the business of creating mesmerizing experiences and celebrating your happiness. At SwayamPrabha, we are a team of young enthusiasts with a team of experienced ones, creating impactful and truly memorable experiences for our clients by blending innovations with traditions and style with elegance. We cater to corporate events, social events, especially the weddings, destination weddings, and other milestone celebrations, and BTL activations. With our head office in Bangalore, we have our branch offices in Hyderabad, Chennai, and Pune. We cater to pan-India requirements, including all your tier 2 cities and tier 3 cities as well. This was a short brief about my company. Yes, SwayamPrabha is my baby, and I came about with this company a couple of years back just because I wanted to do something very, very meaningful. I wanted to be a part of all the celebrations, be it in your social events or be it your corporate events. We started off with BTL activations and corporate events, but with the increased demand for the social events, we thought of stepping into the social events sector as well. Weddings being our core, and destination weddings is what we look at. And hoping to see you all also emerging as very good event planners. Having said that, I would take you all to the next topic in today's session, that is on communication skills. What we would be learning today is we would learn what is communication, what is the importance of communication, why is communication required, and what is the mode of communication. So in this, apart from the topics which I've mentioned here, there are subtopics also which we'll be covering, which will be a little more in detail. Before we start, I just hope you all are carrying your pen and papers to make some notes, and please have your water bottle next to you so that you can have this uninterrupted 30 minutes of our session. So I'm sure you all know what communication is by now. And do you have the communication skills in you? So what are the kind of communication, what are the skills that are required for communication is what I'll be taking you all through. Why communication is very, very important in an event industry. As you see, it is all about connecting with people. It is about listening. It's about speaking. It's about hearing. It's about being responsive. Okay. So quickly, let's go to the definition of communication. Communication is derived from a Latin word called commune, which means to share. It is the sharing of the information amongst individuals. So what kind of an information? Is the information only some data point? It could be data, it could be sharing of ideas, it could be sharing of concepts, it could be imaginations, it could be behaviors, it could be some form of written content as well. So basically when we say communication, we just mean transfer of information from one person or one place to another person or another place. So this is the basic definition of communication. As event planners, we are in a people's industry. I think I've mentioned this time and again. So what happens is here you are dealing with many people, be it your client, be it your teams, be it your vendors, be it your other departments, be it accounts, finances, be it your suppliers. There is a lot of people whom you're dealing with. There is a flow of one particular goal or objective or idea or a concept which has to be carried forward till the last level in the same manner so that that common goal and objective is achieved. And for this, if you are not able to clearly understand the goal, objective, or the idea, or the reason for celebration, or the reason for the particular event, if you don't understand it well, if you don't reciprocate it well, you will not be able to pass on the same information to the rest of the channels. That is why communication is very, very important. It could be right from a napkin to the audiovisual effects as well. So every channel there is passing of some information, sharing of an idea or a concept. And just knowing how you can say this or how you can pass on this information in the right manner till the end user is very, very important. And this needs a lot of skill, this needs a lot of practice, this needs a lot of traits. If you have it in you, then yes, it is very easy for you to become a good communicator or an orator. So what are the elements that go into a effective communication? So you have one who's the sender of this information. Okay, there's one element which is the medium, and finally you have a recipient. So so the three elements are the sender, the medium, and the recipient. Okay, so sender is the person who wants to pass on this idea to the end person. He is the most involved person with a clear understanding of what needs to be delivered. What is medium? Medium is a platform over which this information is passed on or is conducted. Who is the recipient? To the person to whom you're conveying this particular information. I hope it's clear till here. Yeah. So when you talk about these three elements, there are certain steps which are involved in communication. So there is a thought. This thought is encoding. There is an encoding of this particular thought, and then there is a decoding of the particular thought. So in simple words, if you find these words very, very big and jargonish, they are our basic communication words. Okay. So the thought is a subject matter. Okay. That is the information that is there in the sender's mind. This thought or this idea needs to be transformed and developed into a particular mode, and a medium is used, be it speech, be it verbal. I'll be explaining this also, what do you mean by verbal and non-verbal communication modes. Okay, so this is where this transformation is happening, which is known as encoding. When finally this message is received by the final recipient, he understands this message. That is, there's a translation of this particular information or thought, and the recipient is actually decoding it or interpreting this from the perspective of the receiver. So the three steps which are involved in communication is a thought, then you're encoding the thought or you're transforming this thought, and you're decoding it, that is perceiving the information in the right manner or interpretation of this particular information. Now, when we talk about communication skills, first we need to understand why is it important for us to communicate with others. Now, if the client has given me an idea, okay, there's some thought in the client and he tells it to me and I say, okay, but I don't pass it on to my other teammates, do you think the end delivery will happen? Yes. Now, so if I want this communication to be passed on to my teams and to my vendors, to the other departments involved, and to my accounts team to pass me on the estimate, there are certain skills in which I have to present this particular information. So the basic communication skills will be the way you're presenting the skills, the way you negotiate, how am I writing down these thoughts, the business writing skills. Am I able to influence the client or my other departments with the particular idea? Are there any cross-cultural requirements which are involved? How do I manage this entire discussion or this entire information so that there is a win-win situation for us as event planners or as a company and to our client who is the curator or the person for whom this entire event is being planned? And then you have an audience, okay? That is people who are going to be another set of stakeholders in this particular event. So whenever you plan an event, you have to ensure that there is a win-win situation for everybody who's involved. This entire curation or conceptualization has to be sold to the client, and this involves a lot of teamwork. Hence, when you talk about communication, it is an entire skill set wherein you should be able to not only deliver the ideas of the client, but also your ideas to the client and to your own department members. I hope this is understandable to you all. Many people wonder, why do we need to have this communication? I mean, it is all about just understanding what the client wants, right? The client wants to do a corporate event. Say he wants to have a team outing for 50 of his team members. Why do I need to be effective in communication? I mean, he told me he needs a team outing. I'll come and tell my team, he plan for a team outing. And then the client is okay, purpose is achieved. It is not as simple as this. When you sit with the client, he may have a certain idea for a team outing. Does he want it indoor? Does he want it outdoor? Is this team building activity to be done in his premise, or do you have to take him out to a resort, or is it going to be 1-day activity or a 2-day activity? So there are lots of questions and discussions which go around this particular thing. Hence, if you're not good with your communication, if you do not understand what is being told to you, or if you do not know how to present your thoughts for clarifications, which will help you in clear understanding and planning of the event, then you may not be able to sell the idea or bag the particular order from that client. Hence, for every step in the planning process, you need to have a clear expectation of, or a clear idea of what the client is expecting you to do. All this is possible only when you have good communication skills. When we talk about effective communication, why is effective communication very important? Effective communication helps you in taking strong decisions. It increases the productivity of you as an event planner and your team members and the company as a whole. It helps in having consistency in the workflow, because with clear communication, you would have actually delegated all your work. It cannot be a one-man army. You cannot be the designer. You cannot be the executor. You cannot be talking to the vendors. Yes, I'm not underestimating you, but in an organization, when you have proper departments with people doing what they are good at, and you being the supervising at it, or as per your skill set, you have taken a particular part in that particular organization for one department, you will be more productive and more consistent in your workflow. This develops strong business relationships and gives you a better control on that event. With all this, what happens is you turn out to be a better professional in all your work, and this enhances your image as an event planner or an event management company. Finally, when all the departments are doing well, there's increase in productivity, when there's consistency in workflow, when you all are delivering well, you get better response from all stakeholders, thus resulting in more business for you and for your company. That is the reason why effective communication is very important. And trust me, if you are not born with great communication skills, not to worry. You can still develop them. You can still learn them and practice them, and obviously enough, then be very good at it. What happens when you have effective communication? When you have very good effective communication, or the keys for effective communication, you foster very good relationships. You need to put yourself in the other person's shoes and understand what he or she wants. And be it your client or be it your vendors or suppliers, you need to be very strong in communicating with your vendors and suppliers as well. Always be very empathetic towards them. Remember, they are pro at what they are doing. Okay, so when they are giving you an idea, always take the idea, do a feasibility study, which we had learned in our previous sessions. Do a feasibility study, see if what they're suggesting is adding value to you or to your client. If yes, then you shift back this idea to the client and take it back. But for all this, if you're not good with your way of talking or your way of understanding or your way of interpreting the information, you may lose out there. Always encourage two-way communication. If you have just only if you are talking or if only the client is talking and you are not able to say to the client whether this idea is feasible, whether it's doable, does it have a monetary impact, does it have an environmental impact, are licenses required, if you cannot talk back to the client and just nodding your head when the client is talking, you are actually putting a barrier to the communication. You are closing doors for effectiveness. You always need to uh, initiate and always encourage a culture of transparency. From day one, if your discussions are always clear, open, and transparent with 100% truth and facts, you may tend to increase your business potentials to a greater extent. Always strive for interdependency than independency. To a certain extent, it's always nice and we all want to be independent in all that we do. But at the same time, please remember that event management is not one job. You're not just taking care of accounts. There's a lot of multitasking involved. If you are having a team who can actually execute certain work or you can delegate work to them, that helps you on focusing on the client or on the objective of that particular event. Do not assume things. If you're not clear, it always helps that you go back and ask for clarifications. That is one reason why we say encourage two-way communication. Now, for example, just because the wedding is going to start, suppose you have the invitation card for a wedding for 7 o'clock, don't assume that 6:55 is the time that you need to hand over the entire venue to the client. The guests are expected at 6:55. But what happens is that the family of the client is already there. So get a clarification from the client. Are there any ceremonies that you all are going to have within the family before 7 o'clock, before the barat is coming? What time do you want the welcome drink to be served? What time do I need to hand over the stage to you? Always plan this in advance. This will be possible only if you have planned it well, which needs, again, yes, a good communication. As I was saying about delegation of work, the emphasis or the actual function of communication is two. One is getting your work done, one is building relationships. So when I talk about getting work done, it is like making clear requests and agreements. You talk to your you talk to your suppliers, you talk to your vendors. You are in agreement with them for certain things. What is doable, what is not doable. You're talking to your clients. You tell your client what is doable, what is not doable. You understand what he wants. Are you able to deliver this? Are you able to convey the same to the client? Is the client in agreement with you? In case the client says that, no, I want only orchids, but for some reason you're not able to arrange for orchids. So you say, I don't have orchids. Can I arrange for daisies? Is a client in agreement with you? You should be able to take spontaneous decisions and communicate these decisions to all the stakeholders to whom this particular decision impacts. There is always a scope of making mistakes. Do not repeat your mistakes, but when you make a mistake, are you in a position of actually making good this particular mistake? What is the impact of this mistake? How are you going to handle this mistake? Is it going to have a very big impact on the event or on the final end of the objective of the client? Are you able to communicate this to the client even before the client talks to you? Always, always ask for feedback. Feedback is very, very important for you to grow and prosper. Similarly, you should also be free and in a position to give feedback to your teams, to your vendors and suppliers. At times, it becomes necessary to give a feedback to the client as well. Always remember that anything and everything that you do is a process of learning. Be open to learning. Once you are open to learning and once you're open to this concept, that is when you will actually grow bigger and better. The minute you say, I'm the best, I know everything, it's enough for me, that means you have closed the doors for future growth. Next, we talk about building relationships. The event industry is a growing industry. Are you happy with just doing, say, 5 weddings or 5 corporate events in a year? Of course, you are not. Here, when if you ask me, most of the events come to you as repeat business from your clients or from mouth to mouth referrals. Hence, it is very important that you build a good relationship with the clients, with their guests. You connect with as many people as possible. If by chance there are any conflicts in the event or in your interdepartmental functionings or say with your suppliers and vendors, you should be in the position to take control and deal with these conflicts. How do you solve these problems? Because problems are always bound to come. Okay, now are you somebody who focuses on the problems, or are you somebody who focuses on the solutions of these problems? So you need to be very strong in communicating the solutions to your teams, taking control, doing the required actions, and zap, your problems are eliminated. At times you may need to reward or punish your wrongdoers. Punish becomes a strong word. Okay, so generally I do not use a lot of negative words. So I would rather say, how do you, there's always a carrot and stick approach, right, to get your work done. So how do you reward people? That's very good. It's always nice to reward, to appreciate. But when it comes to somebody who's not performing as per expectations, or somebody who did a misdeed because of which there was a negative impact on your event, so how do you deal with this? So probably what is the kind of feedback that you're going to give? How are you going to deal with these kind of situations? All this is a part of your communication strategies. I would also like to say, before we come to this activity time, when I talk about functions of communication, I would also like to say that, never be shy in getting your work done by others. Of course, you are the face to the client. Of course, you need to be at the event. Of course, you need to work, but you cannot do everything by your own self. Okay, so when there are certain tasks, though there is multitasking involved, involve the right sources. Okay, and it is always all about we. Okay. Also, I would like to share with you all what are the basic benefits of good communication event industry. See, right from the beginning to the end, effective communication is the core element for the success of an event. Okay, be it in terms of advertising, be it in terms of campaigning, be it in terms of delegation, be it in terms of coordination, right from level 1 till the end of the event, there is communication which is involved. You're building relationships in such a manner that you try to strike the maximum conversion rates. People may ask you about your products and services. People may talk to you to know what is the core strength of your team. People may want to know how we are going to create an awareness or a campaign. People may want to know about your credibilities. If you are not able to say the same to, if you're not able to share this kind of an information in the most effective manner, it becomes very difficult for you to convince the client that you are capable of delivering. I would like to just have a small activity with you all. We just went through a few skills and sets. I just want to check with you all. Do you believe that a few of the effective communication traits can be learned? What are your strongest traits in effective communication? And what are the skills or traits that you wish to strengthen more so that your communication skills become very, very effective? Take a couple of seconds or minutes, please write it down. And in case you have any further queries or you want to share something with me, I'll be sharing my email ID at the end of the session. Feel free to connect with me. So, as budding event planners or people who want to be a part of the event industry as per your skill set, I strongly suggest that you have to be a very good communicator so that your ideas, your dreams, your aspirations can come true. Okay, and only then with proper interaction, with proper communication skills, everything can be well managed and things will automatically fall in place. As I say that feedback is very, very important. You may not be sure if the message that you wanted to pass has been successfully received and interpreted in the right manner. So it always helps that you take a feedback from the recipient, especially if the recipient is your client, is your vendor or a supplier, or your teammate, irrespective of who the recipient is. In business, it is very important that you are understood well. So probably you can always say, like, now suppose, let's do it this way, okay? I was teaching you, so I use my communication skills. So I may ask, I hope this is clear. I hope you all understood what I said. Do you want any more details? Do you have any clarifications? Since we are not face to face at the moment, I may ask you for a written communication. That is, I'll share my email ID with you all and you all can write back to me. So, you can always ask for more detailed feedback to check whether the recipient actually understood what you are saying. Probably you can say that, okay, I'm going through again and this is what I'm going to do. I hope you understood it in this particular manner. Okay. So generally, if you've noticed, the way I start is I tell you all, when I start a session, I say what we are going to learn. I always end the session by saying that this is what we have learned. So, and what happens in between is the topics that we covered up. So this is my way of checking with you whether, this is what I wanted to teach you and I hope this is what you've understood. Here comes that slide what I was talking about. So what did we learn today? We learned on what is communication. It is exchange of ideas, or it is an exchange of information between people, or transforming this particular information from place to place or from people to people. Communication is very, very important right from level 1, where you are first sitting with a client who has some ideas in his mind which needs to be conveyed to your team for final execution. Hence, there are lots of communication skill sets which are required. A lot of decision-making skills. You need to have effective communication. What are the communication requirements? All the skills that go into it. So, I hope this has been a very clear session to you all. In case you still have any doubts, feel free to write to me at anitamakharia@gmail.com. Until then, stay safe, stay happy, and keep learning and keep growing. Shubhkamnaएं to everybody.